Welcome back to Westbridge Hills, episode 9 with me, MrSealyp. As you can see, bottom right hand corner, bottom right, left, well, it'll be zoomed in anyway, doesn't matter. Missions completed 37. I've been keeping very busy. I'm filling up the big bud, which is actually costing quite a bit of money. And I'm going to also give it a wash. Bit of housekeeping and admin before bedtime, and then I will probably see you in the morning. It's getting late. I've been doing contracting, I've been doing a few bits and bobs here and there. Most of the fields are looking good, and what I will do is first thing in the morning make sure the cows are all fed, watered and bedded down. Oh, this is taking forever. And hopefully by then as well, some of our crops somewhere will be ready for harvesting and sorting out. Finally, how much that just cost me? 2,900. Oh, that wasn't too bad. That's a lot of money for fuel, but not too bad. Now, you may also notice that we have another shed, vehicle shelter. Got the one there, and we've got another one here. That is in preparation for potential, and I say potential new vehicles. I'm probably going to need to get another harvester, because when all of these fields are ready to harvest, and as the farm expands, one harvester running fields at a time is going to take me forever. So I've got some vehicles in here already, but a harvester header will need to be pulled through, and I just didn't have enough bays in this one. So I've bought another one, moved a couple of bits of equipment around already. It's a little bit tighter getting in this side, so that's why I picked things that were a bit more kind of articulated, things that were easier to turn in kind of this space. As long as I come in at a good angle, kind of from this direction here, I can get in no problem at all, which means I can get another harvester header down one of these, and you know, everything's great. So give this a wash, speak up a little bit because it's very loud. Put the big bud to bed, then off to bed, and see you in the morning. It's just before 6 o'clock. I'm up, I'm wide awake. My cornfield is growing wonderfully. I have my growth speed set on normal, not on fast, but even with it set on normal, overnight there have been some developments. Growth. As you can see, my field number 10, which has my sunflowers in, is ready to harvest. Field number 16 and 17 with my soybean are ready to harvest. Field 6, which has got my sugar beet in, is ready to harvest. 15 is growing, which is fine. 20 that I bought, which has, what does it have in that? Old potatoes, wasn't it? That's not ready to go just yet, but I have some work to do. I'm going to actually start with the sugar beet harvest, and I'm going to use something different. I did do a guide to on this a while back, but you'll see that in a minute. But I also need to sort out down at the cows, feeding them and making sure they're all good for the day. That being said, the Lintrack is going to be sold. I love it, I really do, but that thing is better for a small farm. It really is. You know, it was suggested to me, and I bought it, and I love it. I think it's great for a big map like this and a big farm with lots of big machinery, and what it needs to do is just a little bit too small. And I know it does look ridiculous with all this, but I like it, but it's not practical for what I need. So it's going to go. But the good thing is, what I'm selling all the parts for goes some way. Oh, front forks as well. To paying for. I'm going to buy the telehandler again. I know it's ridiculous, but I had the Manitou and I sold it to buy this, and you know, I'm going to buy it back again. One of those things. I'll do that in a minute. The other thing I completely forgot was it went past midnight and I got clobbered for the leasing cost of these because I forgot to give them back. But to be fair, I'm going to need to use them over the course of the day anyway. So for what it cost me to lease them, it's cheaper than starting to lease them again. If that makes sense, it's kind of an extended lease rather than starting a new one. Right, let's get this telehandler and all the bits I need for it. Typical though, isn't it? That was my choice and my mistake. So I've said this repeatedly. I've said it before. I used the New Holland LM7, whatever it was, the one off of the Mod Hub on Lawfolds. I'm using the Liebherr on Drumard at the moment. The JCB, I don't like. So I don't like it. It's a nice telehandler. I just can't operate it particularly well. The articulated one, it's got quite a narrow wheelbase, so it's not one of my favourites, let's just say that. So I'm going to go with the Manitou. Plus I'm going to go with the forks, because I'm going to need those for making feed. Fantastic, right. But it is a cracking, it's a brilliant telehandler. I said this right from Goldcrest Valley when the new map came out and it was a Manitou. I love the design of it, the sort of the shape. It's kind of got a real ergonomic kind of look to it with all the kind of moulded light fittings, and it's a great telehandler. It really is. I suppose what I should have done initially when I bought the Lintner was kept the telehandler, bought the Lintner as a kind of test to see, and then gone from there. So it was my mistake. I should have kept hold of it in the first place. But I will get this down to the cows. When we get down there, there's something else we need to look at, and that's the cleanliness. We need to feed them and sort that out. That's fine, but we need to look at the cleanliness, because as we start to increase, going up and down with a bucket gets not just monotonous, but it wastes time that you could be doing something else. So I think I'm going to go with the Lely Juno, the cleaning machine type thing, again like I did on Lawfolds. Handy bit of kit, and in the absence of something else that works better, I know there are various different things. You can use the sweeper and just go up and down, but that's no different to going on with a bucket, so you might as well try and automate it if you possibly can. Go into the harvest with those. The dilemma is when you've been doing a lot of contracting and you've built your money up, rather than just getting a million or using the cheap boxes or something like that, it's a real dilemma what to spend the money on. My mind is saying get another big field, because the more fields you've got, the more money you've got coming in, and then you can think about getting another machine. But then I'm thinking I do need some more machinery, I do need another harvester, but then that's a big chunk of your money gone. So it's a big, you know, what do you do? So first things first, the Lely Juno 150. It's in the animals section. It cleans the feeding areas with less labour. The angle sets the movement radius forwards and backwards in centimetres. Blinker button shows alignment guides. Start helper at the centre in front of a trough. That we'll have a look at that in a moment. It's 12,000, but it's worth every penny. Main colour, should I change the main colour? I know what, I'm going to go with MrSealyp green. MrSealyp green. Actually, pea green, yeah, that's never thought that. There we go, very funny. Right, I'm going to go with a beacon on this one before. I've never had a beacon on one before. Don't know why that makes a difference, but let's get one with a beacon. Oh, it's up at the store, isn't it? I've got to bring it down. I forgot about that. Okay, the other thing you need is, to go with it, is the charging station. And if I look in, I think it's under, is it placeables? I think it's placeables. There we go. The Lely charging station, $120. Charging station for the Lely Juno. It covers the maintenance costs for one Lely Juno. So it means there'll be no maintenance costs for this item overnight, which is quite handy. 0 per day, $5 an hour. Is that income? Not sure. Anyway, right, need to buy this and place it. So let's zoom in. Probably stick it. Oh, okay. Why don't we put it there or on the end? Does that light's be in the way there? I'll put it there. Okay, so we've got a charging station. It doesn't actually charge at that or anything at all, but it is there. I suppose I could have turned it sideways and maybe I could have put it further back against the wall, but it's there. I'll go and get the Lely and we'll set it up and get that going, because this does need cleaning up. Then we'll get on with feeding the animals. So the Lely Juno 150, here it is. In comparison to the tractor, actually it's quite a fair size unit, but I need to transport it down so you can actually get into it like you can with most things, and if I remember rightly, I hope that moves the front bit there. It's this one, right? Okay. I need to lift the cover, which opens up the arm to allow it to be picked up. So jump back into the Massey. Oh, that's interesting. It didn't actually use that at all. Never mind. Okay. Get this down to the dairy farm. So it's like almost getting a little guide to mixed in with your regular episode. Now what I'm going to do is place this as central as I can to the middle, and I'm going to try and get it side on as near as I can. It's already picking stuff up, as you can see. So if you look, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bays. So if I just put that down now, detach it and move out the way. So, as I said, you can actually get into this. I've left the control bar open at the top left so you can have a look. So if I enter it by pressing square, I'm going to put that thing down now, so I don't need that. Close that. Now, you can start engine like normal. If I press R1, I can start the engine, which means you can drive it yourself up and down, and you can turn it and all the other things you do with a normal vehicle, which is fine. But if you want to set it up on a kind of automatic, and it will pick up from quite a good radius, it's pretty good. I want to get this as central as I can. About there. Let's turn the engine off for a second. Right, so at the top, if I press L1, at the top it says change angle. That's actually not anything to do with angles, it's about the distance it travels. So it will go one way, and then to the end, and then come all the way back past the middle and go the other way. The angle is in centimetres, so I think that's centimetres. That can't be right. 4,500 centimetres. Anyway, I think that works out about 4.5 meters or something. Maybe it's centimetres, but it will travel up one way and then the other way. I think 4,500 is about right. It might be 4,250 for a cow trough this size, but you can always check that. So what I need to do is now set the direction it's going to go, because it looks like it's not quite straight on. So if I press what they call, well, you call the blinkers, indicators. So if I go R1 and then press my D-pad to the left, or I press my D-pad to the right, that will give you kind of direction of travel. And if you look, it's not quite straight on if I come straight up here. So what I need to do is turn it on and try and turn it so it's pretty much parallel to the trough. So when it goes up that way, it's not going to come into contact with the trough, and when it goes back that way, it shouldn't either. That looks pretty much straight on to me, I think. So, if I'm right, and it is 4,500, and that's what we'll find out if I turn my indicators off, that should be fine. Now, that's set up now. I've turned the engine on. It's set up. It should go 4,500. We'll see. If it goes too far, we might have to change it to 4,250 or something like that. So if I select worker now, hire worker, doesn't cost you a penny to hire a worker. It will now go off up the trough. I think the maximum speed is 3 miles an hour. It will gradually get a little bit quicker. There we go. 1, come on, 2, and 3. You've got a little flashing thing down the bottom right hand corner every time it comes into contact with feed, and it has cleared that stuff that I couldn't get rid of, which is brilliant. Now this is where we see if I've gone too far. It may need to be 4,250, not 4,500. So it goes too far. Now that's stopping there, which means it's gone just past the end of the trough, and now it's going to stop, go back again. It will go back past the centre point where I set it off, go right down the other way 4,500, turn round, come back again. Now you could leave this going the whole time if you wanted to. Just set it and you won't ever have to worry about cleaning your cows again, the feed area. What I generally do is every now and again come back to it, stop it, and then use it whenever I need to. If you don't put it central and you set it, obviously from wherever you set it off, it will go 4,500 one way, 4,500 the other. So make sure that when you do set it off, you are in the centre point. So it might mean just turning the engine on, driving it to the centre point, and then setting it off. But that's it. That will now go up and down and clean my feed area. So I'm going to leave that for a minute. I'll jump out, and that will happily carry on cleaning. Let's see how far off the other end it goes. Now sometimes if you overfeed your animals and the grass and everything is full, if the feed area gets messy, this won't clean up properly because it will start to fill up. It has kind of got a little thing inside it, because it can't get rid of it anywhere if the feed trough's empty. Actually that works out pretty much bang on. I mean, I suppose if I set it to 4,250, it might stop about here, which should still clear this end area and stop it overshooting, but it's not really a big problem. Anyway, right, enough of Lely Junos and cleaning areas. Let's get these animals fed and get onto something else. Now, don't know if this is going to be the tractor for the job because these are very big items of equipment, but we'll see what we can do. I will also check to see overnight. I'm not sure if I made money or not. If I didn't, it's going to be pretty much spot on. Yeah, that probably could have done with a bigger tractor, but it's pulling it, it's fine. Albeit slowly, but it is working. Didn't take a lot, but at least they're fed. Now I know it says it's enough to feed them for 6 days. Generally speaking, every 24-hour period that passes, in the morning of the following day, I'll go and do all the feed. Now I know you can leave them for 6 whole days. And a lot of people do, they'll leave the feed troughs and they'll leave the feed and everything goes down to yellow or orange and then it goes to red and then they'll do something about it. Generally speaking, 1, because I like to look after my animals, and 2, because I'm completely OCD. I just cannot let it get that low. Just can't. So actually, unfortunately, it's something I would always need to make sure I do. Yeah, getting a bit of wheel slip there. Hardly surprising when you look at the size of the tanker compared to the tractor, but and it is struggling to pull this. I could have gone and picked up the Lely Juno with the case, to be fair. Is that all it took? Right, I'm going to do the total mixed ration and then their bedding, and I'm good with the cows. But just to show you that I do look after my animals, and that's all now working perfectly. The cows are now sorted and to the job in hand. I'm going to lease some equipment. I'm going to do the sugar beet harvest on 5, 6, whatever field it is I've got. Oh dear, nightmare. But here's the thing. You've got the two Grim ones that are attached to a tractor, and then you've got the Terra Dos T4-30 with the HR9 header. I've downloaded or installed from the mod hub the Terra Dos T4-30, and like I said, I did do a guide 2 on this, just like the T4-40, shorter, a little bit smaller, smaller tank capacity, but it doesn't require as much space and turning circle and all the rest of it. With that pack, with that mod, came two other headers, a HR12, which is much wider, and a HR6, I believe, which was much narrower. So if you were using it on a small farm and you didn't have as much room for the T440, the T430 would work fine. I haven't used it in anger, so to speak, at all. So what I'm going to do, not cheap, 34,000 to lease, but I'm going to lease it. And I'm thinking longer term, as the farm starts to build and we get more money, if I'm going to do sugar beet harvest on a much bigger scale, on bigger fields, I might actually get one of these. They're not cheap to buy though, 435,000, but it's still cheaper than T440 at 495,000. And I'm going to lease the HR12 header, which is going to make the job much quicker. Now I could have leased the small head, the medium head, it doesn't really matter, it's a relatively small field. But as you can see, compared to the T440, which has another kind of section that's kind of size, that bit there, which makes it longer, plus it has dual wheels at the back. This has only got these here, but the header is much wider, so this is going to make very light work of that field. But the mod is absolutely cracking. It's just like the T440, almost, it's just identical. Everything on it is brilliant, very well done. What I will do in the description, I'll put the modder's name as well, because it escapes me at the moment. I want to say Christo, I'm not sure, but I will put it in there. So let's jump into this. Just fold that up. Now it doesn't matter using the wide header because this is a big map, there's plenty of room. But what I will do is unfold all of this. The legs come up off the floor. And we should be ready to go. Let's get this down to the field. Don't often go this way. a great mod. I love the smoke coming out the back of the exhaust. Reminds me of the airport fire engines from the back. And here we are, ready to go. Beacons can go off. Header we can open up. I will need to get a tractor with a trailer down here. I'm not quite sure what the yield's going to be like. Normally sugar beet's quite high because you get a lot of it, but it's not worth as much, so... Okay. See how we get on. That's a pretty good yield. But like I say, the wider header makes very, very light work of this. Very nice indeed. As usual, animations are just brilliant. This is actually going to be full pretty soon, so let's go and get something to unload it with. So I've jumped in the Holmer Terra variant and I've leased the sugar beet auger tank, overloading tank, whatever you want to call it. It's found under auger wagons. Sugar beet tank, RB35 sugar beet tank. Chaser bin, yeah, they've all different names. But I thought I would lease this. Again, I haven't used one of these for quite a while. I know it means taking it from one trailer just to put it into another one, but it's a cool bit of kit. That's why buying this Holmer Terra variant and using it as a tractor for 249,000 makes it such a versatile piece of equipment. Because you can put the slurry tank on the back of it, you can put the disc tank on the back of it, there's a grain auger wagon on the back of it. It's a brilliant bit of kit. Hopefully we should overload, and there we go. Now this holds 35,000 and I think the sugar beet harvester only holds 30, so I can get another 5,000 in this, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not mistaken, I need to check something, but I'm pretty sure I should be able to. I could unload this straight into the into a sell point, maybe. I'll have to check that. I don't know what sugar beet's selling for actually. Let's have a quick look. Sugar beets, where are we? Right across here. Not very much at all, and it's dropping everywhere. Might have to put this into storage, I think, and wait for the prices to come up, which is a bit frustrating because I wanted the money. Unfortunately, when you look across, the prices of most things are pretty poor. Soybean, which is always the really good crop, is so low. Sunflower is higher than some of the places. That's kind of worrying. Okay. Storage it is. What we'll do is watch him fiddle around for a little bit first. I'll get the last 5,000 in this. Like so. And we'll take this and see where we can unload it, if we can unload it straight into the thing, or whether or not we need to put it into a trailer and then in. We'll see. It's all a test, a learning curve. I haven't used one of these probably since FS15. This is a steep hill. So what we'll find out now is whether or not we can unload straight into storage. Not sure that we can. Right, if I do pipe out, I think we can put the pipe down as well. Hang on. We can't store sugar beet in here, can we? Of course we can't. No, that all got changed, didn't it? Ah, that's even more annoying. You could originally, but that all got changed. So I'm either going to need a sugar beet, like the root crop storage shelter, or just a shelter I can put these in. Or just sell them straight away and get whatever I can get for them. I just suddenly remembered that. That's really frustrating. Okay, well, let's work out what we're going to do with this. It's nearly full again. I'm going to get a fair bit of this, actually. So the first and most obvious choice is going to be unload it. I'm only going to get 2 loads of this into this trailer, 35,000 litres into a 70,000 litre trailer, and then go twice. And then I've got to decide what I'm going to do with the sugar beet. But at least I can get back down to the field, empty the harvester because that's got a full grain tank. And then decide. Fantastic, right. So fold the pipe and get this back over. Right, back over to the field, unload. The harvester is carrying on its job and I've got 35,000 litres in here. I've brought down the lorry and the trailer, sorry, truck, semi, and I'm going to unload this lot, so that will give me a full load in here. I haven't decided what to do yet. I thought about getting the vehicle shelter, bit of a vehicle shelter, the root crop storage shelter, but that's a bit of a false economy. It's 90,000 to buy. I'm not going to make 90,000 at the moment selling the root crop, so it seems a bit of a ridiculous thing to do. So I'm thinking I might just sell it, whatever price it's at, sell it. This will be a full load of 70,000. There's going to be easily another 35,000 probably off that. Okay, so that should have a full load now. And I'll wait for this to unload. Sorry, unload, to fill up, and then I'll unload. But that is the end of this episode. We've got some sugar beet harvesting done. We've used the Terra variant with the sugar beet tank on the back. We've used the Holmer T4-30 with the HR12 header. We've set up the Lely Juno for the cows. We've done a few bits here and there, so all good. But that is the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative, useful, interesting, whatever it might be. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share the video, please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.